Good morning, everybody. Hope we're doing really good today. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about if you should sell your covered calls below your cost basis. Because if you're selling the wheel strategy, there's a real possibility that sometime you're going to get assigned some shares and you're not going to be able to sell the covered call for any money at or above your cost basis. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. First off, if you're new to the channel, I'm Justin. I like to talk about dividend investing, income from options, financial independence, and kind of document my own journey towards financial independence. So if you get anything out of this video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. I'd like that a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, because I'm putting out videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'd really appreciate that too. And now let's go and get into the video, talk about cost basis and covered calls. Now, a quick reminder on the wheel. Essentially, it's when you sell a put for certain strike price, and then you get the premium. If the shares get assigned to you, you take possession of the shares, and then you sell covered calls against that until those shares get called away, and you repeat this process. And that's why it's called the wheel. You have, selling the put, get assigned the shares, sell the covered call, shares get called away, and you repeat this over and over again, and you get the premium from doing that, and maybe a dividend if it's a dividend paying company that you hold during the dividend time. And our cost basis is how much we've bought the shares for, subtract all our premium that we received. So if we sell a $60 put with a strike price of $60, and we get $1 of premium out of that, those shares get assigned to us. We pay $60, but we did get that $1 in premium, so that means our cost basis is $59. Now, there's two thoughts about selling covered calls on the wheel. Some people think that you should never sell your covered calls at or below your cost basis. And this goes back to the rule that you only sell the wheel on stocks that you want to hold for a long time. And the other idea is that you can sell your covered calls and reduce your cost basis quicker. And if it does get called away, then you just sell puts on it again. And the cost basis doesn't really mean so much if it gets called away, because you want the income and you're just kind of running this wheel for the premium. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a couple examples of times when you might have got assigned shares and your cost basis and how long it would take for those shares to rebound, okay? Here's a chart of realty income, and it reached a high of 70. Oh, can we make that go? Reached a high of 71.60 in July of 2016. Now, if you sold a covered call here and you got assigned, you have the cost basis of $69 or something like that. It's kind of in a downtrend until it reaches a low in February 2018. So what do we have? We have July 2016 to February 2018, and it's working its way down. And it isn't until end of 2018, early 2019 that the shares get back to above $65. So if you were going to wait to sell covered calls on this, that's a couple years. You'd still be making your 5% yield, but that's a long time to be just holding these shares waiting for the price to go back up to sell your cost basis. Here is IBM. This is from 2013. It reached a high in 2013. And IBM is one of those companies, they used to say that this is one of the companies that you buy and you hold and you forget, a widow and orphan stock where it can't go wrong. But if you would have bought IBM in 2013, the price has been working its way down ever since, and it's got a high yield of 4 or 5%. And if we were selling the covered calls on this, this has been 7 years where, we have not been able to sell covered calls at or above our cost basis if we would have sold up here. Here's a chart of the S&P 500, and it reached a high of like 800. This was in November 1968. And then it was in a downtrend until June 1982. So that's 14 years of just holding the S&P 500 if you didn't want to sell the covered calls against us. I know it's a long time ago and people weren't really selling covered calls on SPY in the 1970s. But just to show you that these can stay, down for a long time. If you would have sold, a covered call here, it would have been a really long time before it reached the bottom. And then back up to 1987 before you're anywhere near your cost basis to sell those covered calls again. That's like almost 20 years. Let's look at how it affects your cost basis if we want to sell covered calls. We start out selling a put. Shares of the stock are $65. We sell a $63 strike price. We get 75 cents in premium. That means our cost basis and our break even is $62.25. Then something crazy happens and the shares fall to $50. There's no way we're going to be able to sell a covered call for $60. That's way too far out of the money to get any value out of selling that contract. So, but maybe we can sell a $55 strike price and get $1 out of those premiums. That means our new cost basis $61.25. Then maybe we sell another $55 covered call for 75 cents when that expires. And now our cost basis is $60.50. And maybe it pays like a 25-cent dividend or something. So that gives us cost basis of $60.25. And then maybe we sell another covered call for, a $57 strike price. Get 75 cents for that. Our cost basis is now $59.75. We've reduced our cost basis by $2.75 in this example, and it takes a lot more risk off the table and a lot more time that we don't have to wait for these shares to work its way back up. Now, when I sell my covered calls, I think of it as reducing cost basis. I don't really necessarily think of it as income until those shares get called away, because I don't know what they're going to get called away at. And once they get called away, then I add it all up and that'll be my profit and loss. Like if I make 60 cents from selling a covered call, but my shares drop $2, that means my account is still down $1.40 per share. And it doesn't make sense to me that I have, I've made this income, but I've lost all this money on the underlyings. So I don't really account for that money until I sell all my covered calls and my shares get called away. Then I add it all up to see what my real, profit and loss is. So I think of covered calls as more of a way to reduce cost basis. And for the shares that I really do want to hold for a long time, things like Realty Income, McDonald's, Starbucks, Microsoft, things like that. For one, I don't have the 100 shares to sell the covered call. But for two, I just want those to keep, reinvesting the dividends. Get the dividends and raising dividends and reinvesting the dividends. And that's what those are for. For my wheel strategy, those shares, I'm okay selling the covered calls, reduce my cost basis until they do get called away. And none of this is financial advice. You can do whatever you want to do. This is just what I do, and this is how I think of it. I think that's all I got for this video. Hope you enjoy it. If you learned anything or, get a new way to think about covered calls, I'd really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, because I'm putting out videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Give me a little comment down below and say hi. And I'll put some other videos that we can watch over here. Those will be really fun to watch. And then I want you to go have a good day, all right? Justin out.